Welcome to Backstage with John Wilson, a podcast where we go behind the scenes to look at the Christian contemporary music industry, music festivals, and real-life encouraging stories from our experience. Our goal is to display how God is using Christian music to transform lives and to take church outside the walls. For more info about Light the Way Ministry, go to lightthewayministry.com. And with that, here's this week's episode.
Welcome, everyone, again to another episode of Backstage with John Wilson. I am John Wilson, founder and CEO, and I'm super excited. Y'all see on the screen right now, my brother, Aaron Cole, is with us today. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, I'm excited. I don't know if you remember or not, but we've got you coming to Olive Branch, Mississippi this year again for the festival, headlining Kane, Such Leader. You're going to just going to kick things off. It's going to be a great way to do it in celebration with the fireworks. But I don't know if you remember this or not, but this is your second time coming to Olive Branch. And
Yes.
do you remember the first time you didn't even get to perform because a tornado came through?
Yes. It was
So
insane.
insane, man. I told my team, I said, look, if we're going to go after Aaron Cole, we need to let him know that he can't bring the tornado with him this time.
Yeah, no. I remember that was so crazy. We were all just like, oh my God. We had all got there, got loaded up, merch ready. We were ready to go. And then it was just
Yeah.
drenched.
Oh,
Everything.
man. I tell you, it was, I still get PTSD from it. I ain't lying.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Well, truth be told, I've been doing these festivals. I'm coming up on my 10th year, and that was the first time that has ever happened. First time.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and it happened to have been the first year being in Olive Branch too.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. No, that's crazy. I know, I
yes,
already know the stress levels were going crazy at that time.
they totally were, man. And don't bring any of that stuff with you this time, okay? Because
I
we
rebuke
kind
it
of need you to perform.
in the name of Jesus. I rebuke it.
Yes, yes. Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for you being on the show. It's I other than that, I mean, we haven't had an opportunity to have you. So you've been busy, you've got a lot of stuff going on. Uh, Fill us in. What's happening? I think you got a new single that's out right now, and
Yeah.
you've got some shows that are coming up. Talk about a little bit about where your career's at right now. What's the goal and what's happening in your life?
Yeah. No, for sure. Man, it's been awesome, man. I this last year or two, it's been my first time with Sony, so Provident Records. When I was 16, 17, I signed to a man named Toby Mac, and I was
Mm,
there for about 5 or 6 years. And when I finished my deal over there, I just got approached by Provident, and it's been super awesome. So I put out my first album with them last year in
mm.
2024 called Sorry I Changed. And then yeah, the single from that right now is called Proof. And Proof is doing really well. It's funny because when I made it, it's like it's always been like this in my career. I make songs and then I think ones are the certain ones that's gonna go well, but everyone else thinks another one is gonna go well, and everyone else is usually the right one. So I just learned to just make songs and let other people decide which ones to put out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I remember my mom was like, "Proof is a hit," and I was like, "Really?" And that's the one that everyone really loves right now. So
That's
it's been
awesome.
awesome. That song is just talking about just like um, just thanking God and seeing the evidence, you know what I'm saying, and the proof in your life. And not it says I don't need to see any more proof to know what God can do because I've seen
Mm,
him do it over and over and over again. And so that's just kind of the place that I'm at in my life in general. Is just like, man, I've seen how God has just worked in my life since being a young kid and
mhm.
now being a married man with the, what I'm saying, new child. It's just like it's just awesome to see God's hand in my life each and every day. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, so I want to talk a little bit about the genre you're in. You're a hip hop rap artist, Christian artist,
yeah.
which is not. I don't know how big of an industry that is. So I mean, that's probably a little tough trying to break into that too as an artist. Maybe
Yeah.
talk a little bit about some of those struggles for this genre of music too, because there's not very many of you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, when I was young, I started rapping when I was like 3 or 4. I was just super passionate about like my parents and everyone like around me were just getting saved from people that just looked like them, that acted like them, but was just on fire for God. And so that's kind of how I started. And then when I got with Toby, like I grew up in church, and so I could sing, but it was always rap that was my thing. But when I got with Toby, they were like, yeah, you need to do both. And so I've just had the pleasure of doing both and having songs like Right on Time, having songs like Proof, etc. But it definitely is just challenges for the rap scene, etc. But I have seen a lot lately of just, things going well, like mainstream, like just welcoming us in and doing mainstream collabs, doing more collabs with like people like Brandon Lake. I saw Brandon Lake has Hovey on a song,
Mhm.
etc. Like it's just things are definitely going on the high. But I think just like back in the day, I watched that it's a documentary on Hulu with like Toby, everyone. It's like Christian music or
Oh,
something.
yeah, 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 yeah. I know what
I
you're talking
love
about.
I
Yeah,
love things like that and just
yeah.
hearing about how, things got started. I feel like anytime things are getting started or things are,
Mhm.
it's kind of out of the norm. Like it starts as like, what is this kind of thing? But as it goes on, I just feel like people are starting to be more open to, just
Mhm.
different ways of worshiping God. And that's just kind of like the generation now. With TikTok, you see a lot of just young generation hungry for God and hungry for different forms of music and stuff like that. And so I'm just honored that I can be a part of that community and part of those things because, we need all different types of worship, all different types
Mhm.
of music to reach as many people as possible. And so I think that's where kind of we come in and where I come in of just like, man, I like making music, how I like to make music, but I'm serving God, you know what I'm saying, with it. So,
Yeah, no, and I think too, you're able to use this style of music of rap to reach people who probably you wouldn't be able to reach normally. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
when you think Christian music, you think what? Worship, you think
yeah,
CCM, you think hymns if you're old school, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then you got the Aaron Coles in the industry that just come up and just like freelance and break it out like nothing,
yeah,
and it's just like, wait, what? You know what I
for
mean? So
sure.
it's cool because it reaches people, a different demographic of people that helps them. The music helps them, and for some of us older people who's like, well, I don't understand what he's saying right now. You know what I mean? I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
for
good. I'm
sure.
trusting that it's good, but
For
but
sure.
it reaches people, I think that's exciting, and it helps them. So,
Yeah,
um, I was looking at some history here with you, and I mean, a lot of people probably don't know this, but you've been Grammy nominated. You've
yeah,
got two-time Dove Award winners under your belt. You've got three times number one Billboard on the charts
yeah.
there, and I
Mhm.
mean, there's just so many things and you've also been. Let's see, one of the things you were nominated in for the GMA Dove Awards is 2 years in a row you got nominated for Album of the Year,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you won in 2019. You won New Artist of the Year. Like
yeah,
those are some major milestones, bro.
for
Like
sure. Yeah.
what 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 goes through your mind when these things happen? Like I can't imagine. I mean, obviously excitement for one, but
Yeah,
it probably didn't come with just easy work. You probably had to work your tail off, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I said, I grew up in a small town, Bristol, Virginia. So it was just like I remember in 2019 winning the new artist of the year. Like before that, I feel like kind of everyone was not expecting me to win. I wouldn't say everyone, but certain people just like because I did things differently. I wasn't the traditional artist. It was just like people were just I don't know, they weren't really believing that that could happen, it was like half and half when I talked to people. And so I think for me I had a great year, and I think for me like I think like that was just everything for me and a lot. And I do things because I feel like I inspire people that look up to me. I inspire people that come from small towns. I inspire people that, feel like they can't do something different and be successful. But I'm like, I'm the evidence that, man, with God,
Yeah.
anything is possible. And I say that in my shows. I say that in my music. I just feel like that's why God kind of has me here because, what I'm saying, if everything was right, everything was perfect, like I feel like I wouldn't need God, but like God shows any time in the Bible, like anybody that he's used in the Bible, it's like, man, they were broken, they were, what I'm saying,
Hmm.
confused, they had things
Hmm.
that they were struggling with, but God still used them. And I feel like I'm an example of that. Like, man, like I didn't do everything right. I didn't do everything perfect. I'm not the traditional artist, but God is still using my music and still using things
Hmm.
to, just change people's life. And so yeah, it came with a lot of hard work, man, and a lot of just dedication. That's why when you see the acceptance speech, I was just in shock and I was just saying, like,
Hmm.
oh, snap, like this is crazy. Like this is for my city. Like I was just super excited, man, just because I'm like, this was an example and this was just like inspiration for those people. And so, yeah, all the accolades and all those things, like I get excited because it's another opportunity to just show people like, man, with God, anything is possible for sure. Because I didn't have all the connections. I didn't have none of that. It was just me, my
Right.
family, and what I'm saying, God. So I'm super
Yeah.
grateful, man. For sure.
No, it's so awesome because it's a humbling. I'm sure too because you said like you said earlier you're from a small town. I'm from a small town as well, and that's how we started our careers is stepping out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm sure that had to take some major faith steps in your walk. Um,
yeah,
Maybe talk a little bit about what that faith walk has been for you and a journey, because I'm sure you've had some moments where were discouraged, and maybe one of our listeners here is watching right now, and maybe they're aspiring to be an artist, or maybe they're just inspiring to be something better than what they are, and they're looking at their surroundings and thinking it's not going to happen. Yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
that I know if it's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to you too. So
yeah.
maybe speak to our listeners about how to overcome that through those faith steps that you've taken.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I felt like it was just over for me. Like, and in case in point, this was like a recent one. Like, when I won the new artist of the year in 2019, the next year we went
Mhm.
into a global pandemic. So imagine.
You're like, is that a sign? Is that
Yeah, like what is happening right now? Like, oh, it's over for me. You know what I mean? So
right,
I feel
right.
like all of those times, like just different things happen. I remember another time when I was about 14. Like I said, I was just super passionate about this at a young age. And so I was making just noise in my area and stuff like that. And I ended up getting into a group. And long story short, for a year, the group just kind of like dismantled. And I was just feeling like, man, like I had really just encouragement with this group. I had faith in this group. And when it just dismantled, I was just like another moment where I was just kind of like, man, is this even going to happen or anything like that? And I feel like, man, like, God just says it in his Bible like all the time of just like all things work together for the good. It's like all those things that I learned in that moment prepared me because that next year is when Toby discovered me. And so
Yeah,
I just say,
wow.
man, like just take the things that come, you know what I'm saying, and just trust God in it all, which is it's hard to say, but I've definitely just seen like as time went on, there's a bunch of times where just things come on your track to try to take you off track, but if you just stay focused and you just keep going, man, don't get weary in well doing. Like I said, it's in the
Mhm.
Bible all the time. Like, do not get weary in well doing and just keep going and let God take the lead, let Him take control. I just feel like all the time, like He always comes out and always works for your good. So, if you're an
Mhm.
artist, if you have a business, if you have anything, I just feel like, man, like just take the things on the chin and just keep moving. Because, like I said, it's every single day where I feel like, okay, this happened. Okay, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
said, imagine having one of the biggest times of my career of like winning new artist of the year, getting all kinds of calls, getting all everything, and then the whole world shut down. I'm on tour with
Mm.
Touring Well, Toby Mac, Jordan Feliz, whole tour, whole world
Mhm.
shuts down. I'm back at home like, what is going on? But I've just seen
Mm.
God's faithfulness even after that. You know what I'm saying? After the pandemic of, you know what I'm saying, from there, starting a family, from there, you know what I'm saying? That's when I got another devil war. That's when, you know what I'm saying? Just things just kept happening as you just keep going. But if I would have quit, I would have stayed in that moment. I would have stayed in that place. And I just feel like you said, don't get weary in well doing and keep going. So
No, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. It's so encouraging too, because I always think that if you're not getting beat up, if you're not getting these little things thrown at you,
yeah,
then you have to really sit there and think, am I doing what God has called me to do? Because
that,
you can't have a testimony without the test, right?
yeah,
And
talk, yeah,
and yeah, so I just feel like that, hey, just because things are getting thrown your way, just because there's some discouragement that's coming out, the enemy is prowling every single day and he's doing everything he can to discourage you and say you're not worthy and say you're not good enough, or you live in a small town and no one's going to notice you. That's
yeah,
all lies. That's all lies from the pit of hell. And we're seeing the fruits of the success that you've had, the success that other artists has, that
yeah,
you got to power through it, because that's, again, like I said, you can't have a testimony without the test. So
absolutely, yeah,
I think it's encouraging. So, another thing I want to talk about is, what do you have new that's going on in your career? What new stuff can you share with us that you're most excited about, coming out of this cold winter months and into the spring and summer? I mean, I'm sure you got some festivals. We're one of the festivals I know that we're excited
yeah.
to have you on. But what are some new things that you're working on that you can share with us that we can look forward to?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as far as the shows, yeah, I'm doing some festivals. I'm going to Denmark for the first time, headlining a festival out there. So going to Europe,
Wow.
super cool. So yeah, definitely doing that. But then on the music side, I'm about to um throughout my whole career, like I said, I've always done the rapping and the singing, and so I
Mhm.
feel like this next thing is just going to be I'm going to give a rap project and I'm going to do a full singing project. So full
Wow.
rap project, and full singing project. So the rap one is coming out soon. I'm about to release the first single from that, and then I'll roll out the singing one. So yeah, that's kind of what's up for music, and then like I said,
Yeah.
doing shows and doing interviews and all after I do that, I'm a dad. So
Yeah.
I'm a dad, I'm
Yeah.
a husband, so I'm just figuring it all out, figuring out the balance. I'm calling Torrin Wells every day. How do you do it with four boys? So
I
yeah, that's
know.
where
I
I'm
know. No,
at.
man, I hear it. I hear it. So I want to ask you too about your music and the lyrics. Like when you're sitting there and you're writing, like, is the process for writing a song the same as if you're like coming out and rapping? Like, because you said you're doing some singing and you're also doing rapping, but the
Yeah.
way that you get those lyrics, is it the same process or is it a little bit different? Like, how do the words come to you on
Yeah.
paper?
I think yes, everything is different, especially now. Like I feel like before when I was a kid, like it was just me in my room putting the pen to the pad every single day, every
Mm,
single second of the day. Like that's all I
mm,
had to do. That's all I was working on. But as just time goes on, I'm just figuring out different things. Like I might go for a walk with my son and figure out, you know what I'm saying, write something in my head or what I'm saying, just do a voice memo or stuff like that. But I feel like the difference between rapping and singing, for one, is way more words. So with rapping, what I mean,
yeah.
I have to really look in. I have to really take my time. With singing, I feel like it's more so just the melody that's important, and then I feel like the lyrics come later. And so it's definitely different processes. And I feel like with singing too, I'm more so open to collabing with certain people, and having other people help me write, etc. With
Yeah.
rapping, it's kind of different. It's like the lyrics are the talent, so you kind of like focus on
Mm,
the lyrics yourself, and so yeah, it's a lot of different things that come into writing lyrics, for sure. But I think as I just go on, you just find different things that's kind of like inspire you, and just get you going when it comes to lyrics for sure. So.
yeah. Wow. So I'm just wondering, like, when you're writing these lyrics and things like that,
Mhm.
how long does it take you to come up with a, like, does it vary, or is it just sometimes
Yeah.
it just shoots out of you? Or I mean, is
No,
there
yeah. Definitely
is there like a
varies.
Google
Definitely varies.
spreadsheet that you go to?
No, no. Definitely varies. Like it's like for 30 minutes. Sometimes I've written a song in 30 minutes. Like it's like, okay, it comes super fast. Sometimes it's taking me days to write songs. It's like there's a certain song right now. I'm like, I have the melody in my head, but I just can't get the right lyrics to it, or I can't get the right thing. And it just comes too from doing music for a while. You just kind of get better and you're like, I don't want to go with the first thing that comes to me because you know what I'm saying? I feel like I can say something better. I can, you know what I mean, do things like that. And so it definitely varies. Sometimes it just comes right out of me. Guys just speaking, it's like whoop, 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 whoop. Sometimes you just gotta let it marinate and let you know what I'm saying, let it come when it comes. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I appreciate that. That's so awesome. So obviously, the biggest news here that I've been excited to talk to you about is you're a new father, you're a new daddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, talk to us about that journey, and maybe even what have you learned from being a dad, and also trying to manage being in this industry, because it could be demanding at times and pull you
Sure.
away. How do you
Yeah.
balance those two things?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I've been super just grateful. It's been a amazing season. Just being a new father, etc. I've definitely just leaned on my community. Like I said, I've called Torn, I've talked to Toby, I've talked to, you know what I'm saying, people that's done it before, Derek Miner, etc. It's just like I've seen it been done before. So that's kind of gave
Hmm.
me the encouragement. But I feel like one thing that I've learned in this whole thing is that I knew it before, that it wasn't about me, but when I just looked into his eyes, I'm like, none of this is about me. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it's like none of this is about me. It's about, you know what I'm saying, investing into the next generation, investing into the people that's coming after us. And you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing it firsthand. It's just like, man, one day my son is gonna be like, man, my dad was doing this for God, or my dad was doing, you know what I mean? It's like so many things that I get to just learn and get to pour into him from being in this musical journey and having the experiences that I've had. It's so many just little nuggets that I get just every day watching him. I feel like God's just speaking to me of just like, this is how, like, I feel like for my son, there's nothing that he can do that can make me, you know what I'm saying, not love him. And it's like that's
Hmm.
showing me like how God feels about me. It's just like,
Hmm.
man, sometimes we feel like our sin, our brokenness is just like we can't come to God, but it's like, man, that's our Father. You know what I mean? And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, He wants us to come to Him with our brokenness, come to Him with our sin. And so, yeah, man, there's so many things that I can just get into from
Hmm.
like just being a new dad. It's just like God is just showing me, but I feel like those are kind of like the main things, man. God is just showing me a lot of just like, man, another thing is just like staying close to Him, like just staying
Hmm.
close to my son, staying close to my father. It's like I can keep
Yeah.
going on and on and on. So it's definitely
Yeah.
been a great season. I've been loving it. I've been trying to figure out the balance of it all, but I feel like that's the joy of it. It's just like figuring it out day by day and having the peace and you know what I'm saying, joy of the Lord while I'm doing it. So it's been super
Wow.
cool.
Yeah. So are we going to well, first off, tell us your son's name. Like, I guess I don't
Amari,
even know.
Amari. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It
All
was
right.
Amari Anthony Cole. So I put out an EP too, like the end of the year when he came out, called Amari. So that's on there too. So
Oh, nice. We'll definitely have to go check that out. So are we going to get a chance to see him during the summertime? Do you bring him out on the road, you and your wife, or is he still
sometimes,
too young?
sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking he might, because it's a little close to Nashville, he might make an appearance at Light the Way. We'll see. We'll
There you
see.
go. There we go. All right. Start him young. Start him young. No, that would be awesome. That my wife would enjoy that. She loves
For
babies
sure.
and little ones.
I
That's
took him
her.
to I took him to Universal. So Universal was his first show, but this Light the Way might be
Okay.
his second one. So we'll see.
Come on. Well, we'll make a special place for him for sure. We'll do what we can
Absolutely.
there. Well, Aaron, I really appreciate. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're trying to be a good role model for your child and your family. Congratulations on being a new dad. It's too bad I'm just now saying it to you, but you just know that we're rooting for you in the
Thank you, man.
industry. And it's exciting to see a young artist like yourself coming up in the industry and then being a father and trying to manage it. And outside looking in, it looks great. It looks like you've got it put together. And I know there's battles and those struggles that come along the way, but like you said, you're utilizing your network of people and you're calling them and stay close to that. I think that's very important.
Yes, sir.
I guess I want to end on this. For those who have maybe not have heard of you or have not got any of your music yet, or even been to one of your shows,
Yeah,
what can you tell the audience that may be coming to Light the Way this year to see your performance? What can they expect?
it's a good question. Um, First of all, I'm just like I love having fun on stage. Like I said, I'm doing it since I was young, so it's gonna be a fun and good time. But I just feel like what I've been talking about, just like inspiring. Like it's been my thing to just share my story, share the ups and downs of the whole journey, and how just God has been there for me through it all. You know what I mean? It's like being able to sign to Toby Mac when I was 15, 16 years old and have the experiences that I have, then go to a major label and all coming from a small town and all coming from, just me and my family having a vision. It's just like I love to just share that heart and share, you know what I'm saying, what that means to the different people on stage. And so that's definitely a thing. And then also just, man, just lifting up God. It's just like that's what we're there for. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
lifting up God and, you know what I'm saying, worshiping God. And so just doing it in a different way. So I
Yeah,
love doing that. And I love just, getting together with the people and feeling the people's energy of what they might be struggling with and inspiring and just, you know what I'm saying, praising God with the people of Olive Branch, Mississippi. So it's
yeah.
going to be super awesome, man. I just love sharing my story and I love just sharing my music with people because, like I said, I love music. I've been loving it since I was a kid. And so just being a young adult now, I'm just like, man, I just want to continue to go on and continue inspiring people each and every day. So,
Well, and you do a fantastic job at it. I've had the privilege of having you on other festivals, seen your performance. It is a lot of high energy, and
yeah.
you do give a lot of glory to God, and that's evident in your story, and your even in your lyrics. And I'm super excited that finally this year in Olive Branch, you're actually going to get to perform, not just
Yes,
be
sir.
there.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. We're gonna make it
uh,
happen.
we will make it happen regardless. So, Aaron, I appreciate you and your lovely family. You've got such a beautiful thing going. God's hands on you all. Hey, if you all are watching right now and you want to learn more about Aaron Cole, you can go and actually go to his website at iamaaroncole.com. Check out where he's going to be at. As crazy it is, in June, you're going to be right down the street from me when you're coming to I think you're coming to the Missouri Baptist
Oh
Convention
yeah,
student camp. Dude, you're
yeah.
going to be like 30 minutes from me, so you better hit me up and so we can go
I
have
will. I
lunch or
will.
something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
let's do
So
it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
yeah,
it.
good. But yeah, so otherwise, you got a lot of shows coming up. It's so great to see. And like I said, go check them out at iamaaroncole.com. This festival, Olive Branch, July 4th, 4th of July celebration with the city, the folks there. Again, we've got Kane headlining, Seth Schleter, and my man here, Aaron Cole. It's going to be fantastic. There's no reason why you can't be there. It's free of charge. Just go and register, be a part of this all day event at lightthewayministry.com. You can find out all that information. Aaron, again, I appreciate you being on the show with me today, bro.
No, man, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll catch you in Olive Branch, and maybe sooner if you hit me up when you come into town.
Let's go. I will, for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you again so much.
For sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.